Good morning. Seoul's point man for the stalled six-party talks says that the South Korean government is willing to return to the six-party table if North Korea will hold constructive dialogue. Seawater into clean drinking water. The nation's first desalination plant opens next month. Connie Lee joins us from Busan. They amass a large following of online followers and subscribers. We take you behind the scenes with beauty vloggers. And the port city of Pohang in Gyeongsangbuk-do Province. Discover the city and its culinary favorites on Korea Today, Thursday, December 4th, 2014.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And a great Thursday morning to you. Thank you for joining us on Korea Today. I'm Kim Young alongside Kim Min-jung and Oh Jin-ju.
Now, looking back on the past year, the most searched word on Google Korea was the weather, especially in spring and summer. And looking back on the past several days, I guess if Google Korea does the survey once again after the year is out, I think the past couple of days would be the days that people search the most on the weather keyword.
Now, another keyword that was on this list was this year's most popular animation film, Frozen, and all things related to Elsa. Right? I can just imagine little girls clicking away on Elsa products. And some of the most popular names searched online this year were Kim Yeon-na, of course, the figure skating champion who won the silver medal at the Sochi Winter Olympics, although it's as precious as the gold medal, right?
That's
and legendary rock star Shin Hae-chul, who recently passed away.
Yep, that's right. The year 2014 is coming to an end, and it seems that we are going to be getting a list and a rundown and a review of the year at hand before we do move on to 2015. All right, now we're going to move on to our top story for this morning. The South Korean government is willing to return to the stalled six-party talks if North Korea signals a willingness to be constructive on nuclear disarmament, according to Seoul's point man for six-party talks, Hwang Jun-guk. Following a meeting with Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Igor Morgulov, Hwang explained that China and Russia both agree that North Korea must express willingness to carry out denuclearization talks towards a constructive direction. Seoul's Special Representative for Korean Peace and Security Affairs, Hwang, added that despite the chummier relations between Pyongyang and Moscow, Russia opposes the North's nuclear weapons development and continues to hold discussions with members of the six-party talks on what conditions are required to resume talks. And on the possibility of a summit between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and Russian President Vladimir Putin, Hwang says it is a possibility, but there is no reason for him to believe that a time frame has been established.
A war memorial that honors British veterans who fought in the Korean War has been unveiled in London. The ceremony for the unveiling of the 6-meter-high memorial took place outside the Ministry of Defense in central London on Wednesday, attended by some 320 British veterans who fought in the war on the South Korean side more than 60 years ago, along with 15 other countries.
The memorial is a fitting tribute to the veterans of that fierce conflict and will ensure that they and their fallen comrades are never forgotten.
Never thought it would happen in my lifetime. Never thought it would happen within 3 years.
The South Korean government and Korean companies, as well as Korean nationals living in Britain, paid for the $1.6 million memorial in honor of the 80,000 British soldiers who served in the 3-year war, including more than 1,100 British lives that were lost during combat. President Park Geun-hye broke the ground for the memorial during her state visit to Britain last year.
For the first time in Korea, ocean water is being turned into drinking water. In Korea's southeastern port city of Busan, the country's first desalination plant has been built and is set to officially start running by next month. And hopes are high that this facility will greatly contribute to resolving the nation's future water shortage. For more on this project, we connect live to Arirang News' Connie Lee, who joins us from that very plant this morning. Over to you, Connie.
Hi, Chinju. Well, I'm here this morning at the so-called heart of the entire desalination plant, Korea's first. Now, I do have to mention that there are a few reports that say that the plant will start running in March, but officials here tell me that the plant is ready to go starting next month. Now, you can see the pipes behind me. Now, that's the intricate purification system that turns the salty seawater into fresh, drinkable water. Now, it's been 3 years in the making for this plant to finally be built, and one of the main reasons behind this facility is to ease future concerns of water shortage here in the nation. Here's more. It's this seawater surrounding Korea's southern coast that is now turning into fresh, drinkable water. Korea now has its very first desalination plant built and ready to go for full operation starting in January. Located in Korea's southern port city of Busan, the $175 million plant can pump in about 100,000 tons of water per day from the ocean and remove the salt and turn it into 45,000 tons of fresh water, enough for about 150,000 residents in the city. This high-tech facility was built by Korea's very own Tucson Heavy Industries and Construction, currently the #1 leader in the desalination plant market.
Since our first desalination plant in Saudi Arabia, our company has been building these plants and working on desalination technology for about 40 years now. We built this one to help expand our overseas market and prepare for future water shortages.
So how exactly does this desalination plant work? Well, it uses this elaborate purification system using what is called reverse osmosis technology. The process puts the seawater under high pressure, so it goes through a semi-permeable membrane, which removes any contaminants or materials like salt and bacteria to produce fresh water.
Inspections show that the fresh water does not contain any impurities like bacteria or radioactive materials, so residents can trust this water. Employees here have been drinking and using this water every day.
The purified water has been certified as safe to drink by the Busan Water Authority, and the cost for consumers will be the same as fresh water from other sources. So is Korea facing a water shortage? Well, not right now, but potentially yes. According to a recent UN report, by the year 2030, nearly half of the global population will face water shortages due to demand exceeding water supply.
The world is headed towards water shortages as the population is increasing, with economies growing and also because of climate change. Desalination plants are one way to fight water scarcity. And in the past 2 to 3 years, the number of these plants has grown tenfold.
There are currently more than 16,000 desalination plants worldwide, and in the face of water scarcity, that number is expected to increase in the years to come. Now, as you can imagine, countries like in the Middle East, which are more hot and dry, have the most number of desalination plants. For instance, in Israel, half of their fresh water supply actually come through these plants. And also in the U.S., they are investing more in this type of technology. States like California, Florida, and Texas, which already have these plants, have plans to build more. And as for this plant here, it is Korea's first, but it doesn't look like it'll be Korea's last. Chinju.
So Korea is finally joining efforts to tackle global water scarcity, and desalination plants could be the way to go as a solution to this problem. But the concern is, I understand, that the cost to purify seawater is very expensive as of now.
Right, desalination plants is just one solution. Well, here in Korea, the government is supporting the costs so that consumers can enjoy this type of purified water at the same price as water from other resources. Desalination plants are expensive because they do consume a lot of energy, so the countries do need to have the proper infrastructure to support something like this. However, companies are also working to develop better technology to reduce the amount of energy used. produced. For instance, newer plants by Tucson Heavy Industries use less energy than plants built just a few years ago. Back to you, Shinju.
All right, thanks Connie for that report this morning. That was Arirang News' Connie Lee reporting live from Busan on the country's first desalination plant. Good morning. It's time to run through the front pages of your newspapers. Now, we have a variety of stories on the domestic papers this morning. Let's kick off with an article about the introduction of a wage peak system that is being pursued here in the country. We'll go ahead and look at Joseon-Ilbo's top headline. And it says government to seek wage peak system at 81 public institutions. And if we take a look at these sub-headlines, they say starting next year, the government plans to first introduce a wage peak system at 81 public institutions and state-owned companies. The wage peak system is to extend the retirement age of employees while decreasing the amount of their paychecks in phases, allowing workers to stay at their workplaces for a longer term. Now, this wage peak system and an expansion of performance-based bonuses are to be applied first to public enterprises where labor inflexibility is high due to the relatively powerful labor unions. And the government hopes to have employees accept a reduced salary for an opportunity to work past the retirement age set by these companies. And we'll go on to the Korea Economic Daily now for a look at this header regarding North Korean leader's younger sister. And the title says, North Korea's Kim Yo-jong to come to Seoul in March next year. So towards the end of last month, I mentioned the younger sister of Kim Jong-un, whose role seems to be on the rise in the north. She is serving as a deputy director of the Workers' Party, a key position in Pyongyang's leadership, which has fueled speculation that she has stepped into the political role formerly played by her aunt. Now, this is the first time she has been given an official title that we know of, and she has been quite active in the public's eyes ever since. Now, it has recently been confirmed that she has expressed willingness to visit South Korea next year in March, and the Unification Ministry here says it's thus carefully examining the proposal. Now, moving on to another local headline, we'll go to 동아일보. For this one, it says government measures fail to increase company investments. And taking a look at the article closer here, in July of this year, Finance Minister cum Deputy Prime Minister Choi Kyung-hwan introduced a set of economic policies to lure and attract more investments by companies via taxation on internal reserves. However, actual figures of investments have actually been downsized compared to last year, even with such measures put into place. Now, most companies are reportedly too fearful of increasing their production scales due to the protracted economic slump. Finally, we'll go on to the Mail Business newspaper for a look at this headline towards the bottom of the front page regarding a cosmetics company here in Korea. And the article is called L'Oreal Group Copies Amore Pacific. Now, L'Oreal Group, the world's top cosmetics company, is planning to launch the so-called cushion cosmetics, much like the air cushion foundation products that belong to Amore Pacific, which is a local cosmetics company, through its own luxury brand Lancome next spring. In fact, a few global cosmetics firms are expected to release products that mimic Amore Pacific's best-selling goods, which were launched by the domestic company in 2008. Another example is Dior, a France-based cosmetics firm under LVMH Group, which is seeking to launch these cushion products as well. And that was a look at our local headlines for this Thursday. Now, following are the stock numbers from Wednesday.
just last week we were talking about how unusually warm it is.
Right?
Right, it was. But now it's anything but warm.
All right, getting out in the morning, especially the time that we have to leave our homes, it's a lot more difficult than it was last week, that's for sure. How long will this cold wave last? We'll get a check on the weather conditions with Chun Song-cho joining us.
Good morning to you, Song-cho.
Good morning, guys. I'm reporting live from Yongsan Family Park. It's frigid cold outside and -5 degrees Celsius. And there's barely any snow left on the streets here in Seoul, but snowy conditions continue in parts of the western regions. Heavy snow advisories are in effect in the areas around the border of Chungcheongnam-do and Jeollabuk-do provinces, and a warning for Seoraksan Mountain in Jeju. A cold air mass is blowing from the southwest, and it's picking up a lot of moisture as it moves across the warm West Sea, dumping heavy snowfall in those regions. For example, almost 30 centimeters of snow has piled up in the last 4 days in Busan and Cheongup in Jeollabuk-do Province, forcing 3 schools to cancel classes for yesterday for the first time this season, and another 2 schools to dismiss students early. The regions are expecting up to 15 centimeters additionally until the end of today, so don't put away your snow gear just yet. Even here in the greater Seoul area, also has a chance of flurries this morning. And mercury levels won't surpass 0 even in the afternoon. A cold wave advisory has been issued in parts of the upper part of the interior Gyeongsangbuk-do Province. And with that, let's take a closer look at today's temperature readings. Seoul is looking frigid cold with a midday high of just -1. The southern regions are showing relatively warmer numbers with highs of 7 in Busan and 8 in Jeju. Temperatures will plummet tonight, and even a colder day is in store for us tomorrow. This is all for me with the weather forecast. Back to you, Minjang.
Thank you, Song-cho. Let's now get you caught up on some of the stories making headlines around the world at this hour. Our Eunice Kim, as always, is standing by at the news center. Good morning, Eunice.
Good morning.
Let's first follow up on the story you brought us yesterday. The leaders of Hong Kong's Occupy Central movement have turned themselves in. Are they facing any charges?
Well, Minjung, they are not, at least for now. Hong Kong police said they will conduct follow-up investigations based on their testimonies, but for now, they are free. The main founders of the Occupy Central movement, including Professors Benny Tai and Chan Kin-man, and also Pastor Chu Yu-ming, surrendered to authorities Wednesday afternoon for their role in the months-long pro-democracy protests. The academics were among 24 people who were questioned and released yesterday. They are urging demonstrators to pull out of the sit-ins, as we have been telling you, amid escalating violence, including police using water cannons, batons, and pepper spray to disperse the crowds, as we saw over the weekend. Now, student protest leaders, and fellow supporters appear to be rejecting these calls, though 18-year-old Joshua Wong, leader of the group Scholarism, has been on a hunger strike for more than 40 hours now, together with 2 others, and are calling on protesters to regroup.
Now, we've been watching this story very closely. Sony Pictures was the target of a hacking attack last week that really knocked out the company's computer systems for days. And there were speculations that North Korea could be behind this attack. And I understand that Sony could be making an announcement very soon.
Well, Sony Pictures has been mum on this investigation being led by the FBI, which is considering multiple suspects in the cyber attack, including, yes, North Korea. Now, a widely read tech blog is reporting that Sony Pictures is finalizing its wording on a statement that will name North Korea as the culprit, citing 2 sources close to the probe. Recode says that could come as soon as today, though we should also mention another outlet, USA Today, is citing an anonymous spokesperson from Sony saying that that story is inaccurate. Now, staff at Sony Pictures were still struggling to restore some systems within the company. Studio co-leaders Michael Linton and Amy Pascal are reported to have said that the full scope of this data breach is still unknown. We do know, though, that it was significant personnel information and business documents documents, not to mention DVD screeners of 5 unreleased Sony Picture movies were hacked and released online. Now, Min-jung, of course, we know that North Korea has been seeking to stop Sony from releasing a film called The Interview that depicts 2 American journalists sent to kill North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. And in fact, some of the malware used in this hack attack is said to have carried Korean characters, which is one of the reasons why it's raising the suspicions on North Korea.
I saw the trailer of this film, The Interview. It's a comedy film, but I'm sure the North Koreans don't find it so funny.
Not at all, no. Not by what they've been saying.
All right, thank you, Eunice.
You bet.
Now, stay with us on Korea Today. We're going to look into the world of beauty bloggers, the people who teach you how to do your makeup online. Well, they're amassing a great number of followers online by offering them their makeup secrets to a compare and contrast of global makeup products. We take you behind the scenes to learn how they do what they do, so don't go away.
Well, some makeup artists can be known as the painter of faces, but we're going to be talking about the painter of bottles today. Morandi's work has been opened in an exhibition. Our Im Yoon-hee has a look at that. Good morning.
Good morning. So today I have a collection of original works by Italian painter Giorgio Morandi. Now they were lent by the Morandi Museum to the National Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art here in Korea. Now Morandi, as an artist, he really did value the everyday and took his muse in the what we would say the quite ordinary. So take a look.
Nothing big, nothing fancy. Just ordinary objects, tidy lines, and delicate tones. At first glance, they appear to be just your everyday bottles, and more bottles. These are the subtle works of Italian painter Giorgio Morandi, a painter most famous for his still lifes.
Morandi was born in Bologna, where he lived a very quiet life, never getting married or having any children. He worked and lived in the same studio until the end. But this artist actually lived through multiple wars and chaos, yet he still held true to himself, consistently creating his landscapes and still lifes. Like a chessboard, he would paint the same frame over and over again, moving around objects to find out where each belonged.
Korea and Italy have had ties for 130 years now, and the works of one of Italy's most famous contemporary painters can now be found in Seoul. Most of his works were done on a small scale, and often contained the images of ordinary objects found in life. One of these objects was the everyday, simple glass bottle, but occasionally it would be the common seashell. And sometimes he even ventured to the serene landscape. And while his still lifes were the most successful of his collection, his other works also contain his drastic contrasts of light and geometric shapes that echo the rhythm of his subtle style. Korean artists from more recent times also demonstrate stylistic traits similar to Morandi, implying the timelessness of Morandi's works, and how these traits have just as much meaning today as they had when they were first painted. Some have recreated that familiar silhouette of a bottle or a vase, while some have taken the vase off the canvas in a rather unique homage to the painter.
Morandi was a very quiet artist, but his work still had strong energy. I wanted to create a sculpture with similar traits as Morandi. So I too took traditional everyday objects and shapes, but I used the canvas to actually make the frames. And instead of a paintbrush, I used a needle to create my work. Individually, they are still life objects, but displayed together like this, it almost looks like a still life painting.
Whether it be hung on today's museum wall or a wall 50 years ago, Morandi found a way to create ageless works, paintings that take the everyday objects of life and immortalize them.
You know, there are many fans of Morandi here in Korea, and he does have a vast influence in Korean artists as well, as we saw in the report. But this is Morandi's first exhibition here.
That's right. So actually, during the mid-20th century, when Morandi was at the peak of his career, he was recognized by many as one of the greatest masters of the still life painting. However, here in Korea, actually, at that time, he wasn't as well known, he wasn't as popular, and still lingers on to this day. And a big reason for that was that Morandi was really considered a hermit, a very reclusive artist who stayed in his studio where he painted, he lived, and he really didn't, because of that, he really didn't follow many of the art movements that many other artists were following. So he was able to stick true to his own style, but at the same time, his work was not as widespread and not as well known. But we're hoping with this exhibition to really spread his work and make him as an artist more present here in the Korean community.
Yeah, as you mentioned in the report, he did spend all of his life in that one studio of his producing all the works, right?
Right.
Now, we did see the report in the interviews of some of the other art that was influenced by Morandi, the other artists, right? And they familiarized their work with Morandi's, and they were also big fans of the artist.
So this exhibition is interesting. It's actually divided into two parts. So one has the original works of the artist Morandi, but also there's another part called Dialogue with Morandi, and you can see some of his beautiful works some of the works that were influenced by Morandi as an artist. So there are some artists, like you saw a few minutes ago, who actually wanted to pay tribute to the artist Morandi, but also some artists who just coincidentally happened to have some very similar traits and characteristics of Morandi, the artist. Now this exhibition, I said, is called Dialogue with Morandi, and it's very interesting. You can see some beautiful works of art, and as I mentioned before, Morandi has a really timeless sense of his work, really timelessness about it, and that you can kind of see through some of these artworks. But overall, I think some very beautiful pieces, both of Morandi and some of these Korean artists as well.
Okay, as we mentioned before, this is the first Morandi exhibition in Korea, so many Morandi fans will be able to flock down and see some of the work of his, as well as the ones that he inspired.
Right.
All right, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
All right, still ahead on Korea Today, we're going to take you to the eastern port city of Pohang. Now, this is an area that's not really known as the biggest tourist spot, but it is a big city in itself, known for industrialization and much more, including the culinary delights of the area. Now, cold weather, wind blows our Joey Mercadante right into the port city of Pohang. That's in Gyeongsangbuk-do Province for a winter trip. We'll bring you some great sights and eats to experience on your next trip to Pohang on Korea Discovered.
Now, for thousands of students in Korea, yesterday was a day filled with joy, tears, or perhaps a little disappointment.
Right. That's because the results of last month's college entrance exam were out yesterday. And let's find out more with our Seo Mi-soorang, who joins us here in the studio. Good morning, Mi-soorang.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Yes, along with everyone's individual results, the Education Ministry also released each subject's cutoff for grades, as well as standardized scores. Now, one thing that stands out is that the overall scores have increased compared to last year. So it will be the subjects with less grade inflation that will be the deciding factor in college admissions.
And always the question of, there's always that someone who gets all the questions right.
The genius, the Einstein.
One or two or three, even like a handful. How many were there this time?
You know, this year the Education Ministry hasn't given out a number yet, so media outlets are having to call individual schools to find out. And the latest tally from Yonhap News is 29. So
29?
So more than a handful. Now, the interesting trivia about this is that of these 29 students, 3 students have exactly the same name, Lee Seung-min.
3 students?
What? And 2 of them go to the same school.
Child, Lee Seung-min.
Exactly, and that was a lot of the jokes were saying, you know, that Lee Seung-min will become the new trendy name for the next 12 months.
It's a beautiful name, too.
It is. Now, unlike college entrance exams, this next question has no right or wrong answer. What do you think will be the best thing about getting married? That's the question posed to over 12,000 Koreans and Japanese who've never been married. And the results show a bit of a country difference. So the most frequent answer in Koreans is psychological stability, while for Japanese, it was the ability to have children.
Jinju, what do you think is the best thing about marriage?
Having someone beside me all the time.
Okay.
That
goes to show you're a Korean.
Korean stability.
Okay.
Now, on the entertainment front, one of the biggest K-pop music award ceremonies in K-pop was held yesterday. So this year's Mnet Asian Music Awards, or simply MAMA, was held in Hong Kong and broadcast live to more than a dozen countries across Asia. Around 20 awards were given across different categories, but let's have a look at the 3 that are considered the grand prizes of the evening. The best song of the year went to Taeyang for his hit Eyes, Nose, Lips, while EXO came out as the big winner, taking home Album of the Year for 2nd straight year, as well as Artist of the Year.
So it seems that EXO is the hottest group these
Definitely.
days.
And you know, not just MAMA, but just this year they've won more than 30 awards at different music ceremonies.
Wow.
Yeah, so definitely a big group right now. And wrapping up, an ancient tomb from more than 600 years ago has been found. Now, this ancient tomb in Suncheon-gun County of Gyeongsangbuk-do Province was previously thought to belong to the Three Kingdom era, but after thorough investigation, the Naju National Research Institute said that it was actually from the Goryeo Dynasty era, which was between 600 to 1,100 years ago. Now, the burial space measures 3 meters in depth, and inside they found remnants of a skull, bronze bowl, spoon and chopsticks, as well as, get this, a bundle of hair.
Bundle of hair.
That's kind of creepy.
Interesting. Now, this begs the question, to whom does it belong to?
Well, experts are saying based on the design of the tomb and the artifacts that have been found along with the body, it most likely belonged to someone from the highest class of the Goryeo Dynasty society, but they don't have the exact identity just yet.
A princess?
Maybe.
Princess Elsa?
Oh, perhaps.
I don't know. Thank you so much, Misorang.
You're welcome.
And a good Thursday morning to you all as we kick things off in baseball. Now, after Kia Tigers rejected a major league bid for their ace Yang Hyun-jung, reports are coming out now that the lefty ace might try for Japan this time. With Yang Hyun-jung still eligible to be posted for Japan's MPB, the 26-year-old recently expressed his desire to continue his pursuit of playing overseas. And while Japanese teams are unlikely to post the big money, it's rumored that the Oryx Buffaloes are keen on possibly signing the lefty pitcher. Now, Oryx has been known to sign Korean players in the past, such as Korea's legend Park Chan-ho, Samsung Lions slugger Lee Seung-yup, and SoftBank Hawks and former Lotte giant Lee Dae-ho. And speaking of the NPB, it seems like the Abenomics is affecting the Korean players currently playing in Japan at the moment as the yen continues to drop compared to the Korean won. Now, currently the 2 big names playing in Japan are Hanshin Tigers closer Oh Seung-hwan and SoftBank Hawks Lee Dae-ho. And with the yen dropping, Lee Dae-ho's salary, which is 400 million yen, is now valued at 3.6 billion won instead of the initial 4.2 billion won, a difference of roughly 540,000 US dollars. Now, experts say with the yen dropping, more and more Korean players are losing interest in playing in the NPB. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day and see you guys again for your sports needs.
Well, nowadays you can see a lot of people around the world singing K-pop songs and making cover songs as well as videos of music videos as well. And you can see makeup making a trend as well.
And a large part of that K-beauty, the spread of K-beauty is attributed to these K-beauty vloggers.
Right.
And
we have one in the studio.
Kim, her V-blogger herself, joins us here in the studio.
So vlogger is right.
As in video
Vlogger.
plus blogger.
Video
so it's not
blogger.
blogger anymore, it's video plus blogger.
Okay.
So you're blogging videos online basically, but about beauty. And yeah, there's definitely a huge increase in K-beauty vlogging, definitely, especially in the past year. I think it's definitely a very fun industry to be in, especially as someone who's been in the vlogging industry for over 3 years now. And I've just been really sensing this popularity rise in the past year, especially in Korea. So it's very interesting. And I personally think that people tend to go towards YouTube because they can connect and they can really just feel a sense of community and also find some friends online while they can really search for what they're looking for in a very interactive way.
You do have some competitors in the blogging industry. Let's meet some of them now and find out their impact in the cosmetics industry.
The Hallyu or Korean wave phenomenon started with K-pop and TV dramas, but it has now spread to the beauty industry as well. Makeup styles and brands of celebrities are in the global spotlight these days. It wouldn't even be an exaggeration to say that the international rush for Korean cosmetics have changed the course of the beauty industry in Korea.
Right, I think my friends who are really interested in makeup and cosmetics, they're the ones who order like BB cream, CC cream from here, and cosmetics from Korean companies.
One of the biggest factors fueling the fire behind the K-beauty phenomenon are Korea's beauty vloggers. They share their beauty techniques and know-hows on videos, and their popularity is through the roof. So-young Park has over 180,000 followers. She's a star vlogger when it comes to Korean beauty tips.
I get a lot of requests for current makeup trends and for K-pop star makeup styles when they make comebacks, or for lead actresses in TV dramas. Hello, I got a lot of requests for a heady style of makeup, so I'll try that today.
Whenever she gets requests posted to her YouTube site, she puts together a video tutorial for them. These personalized videos are the biggest merit on her site.
Now I'm finished with the straight eyebrows that 80 to 90% of Korean celebrities are said to have. Just blend here to make it more natural. And that completes my heady makeup. When I post my YouTube video, I see these comments on my site from Korea, the US, places I've never been like South America, Africa, from all over the world. Even I can tell that our blogs have an influential effect.
Now I have my own beauty and fashion channel too, with over 130,000 subscribers. I connect my viewers by speaking in English and giving detailed reviews and tutorials. I try a lot of Korean cosmetic brands as well as international brands with a brief compare and contrast, as well as different makeup styles and techniques.
These are new Korean products at the moment, and there are a range from low end to high end. So I'm just testing them out to see which ones I like and don't like.
And of course, the secret to good vlogging. A lot of interaction with your fans.
Where people just buy products because they trust what I say, and I really don't want to let that down. So my policy is to be as honest as possible and just be like a friend or a real sister, but through the computer.
Shinnim is another very popular beauty vlogger. She's famous for her quirky, fun presentation and personality. With over 200,000 followers, she's one of the K-beauty vlogging industry's forerunners. So let's find out how we're influencing the industry.
Some of them have a higher quality, especially like the skincare product or like the foundation, the base and stuff like that. Those sometimes have the better quality.
I saw the way Korean celebrities do their makeup and searched YouTube videos. That's how I came to learn about Korean cosmetics.
The cosmetics industry has begun picking up some of these K-beauty vloggers as part of their marketing strategies. And there are more companies now focusing on collaborating with such beauty curators.
Well, advertisements are just regular advertisements. But on YouTube, you get all this information and it's fun. It's effective, so many business models are stemming from that style.
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle Phan.
Recently, a YouTuber introduced Korean cosmetics and got over 100,000 views. She's Michelle Fan, a star vlogger with 6 million followers. A legend in the beauty industry, she takes in about $5 million a year in ads. One substantial fruit of her online labor.
Green tea is also another popular mask that you can find in Korea. We have 2 different green tea masks that you can get. All of my favorite Korean beauty products that I got.
K-beauty vloggers continue to bring Korean beauty and all it entails to the global stage. It's no joke. Welcome to the age of the beauty vloggers.
Yeah, it is no joke. Now, Jennifer, so we've seen the increase of vloggers, and you yourself have hundreds of thousands of followers, right? So, I mean, tell us what you've experienced.
Well, being in the industry, as I said before, for over 3 years, it's been a very interesting journey, but definitely being in Korea, me alongside other Korean beauty vloggers in the industry have definitely felt, as I said before, that the past year has been the biggest in terms of K-beauty going globally. And we really forecast that it will only get more and more popular. And it's interesting because I get to actually meet my subscribers on the streets as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they come and they say, I watch your videos and take photos, and it's just a very lovely experience it's like meeting your friends or your family that you've never seen before.
But you sign autographs as well.
You take pictures with them, I'm sure.
Yeah, if they ask for it.
And you were telling us that the other vloggers are not your competitors, they're your friends. You actually have a community of vloggers.
It's an online community where you collaborate with each other and you just work off each other's strengths and weaknesses. Excuse me.
Interesting.
Right. And with the increasing popularity of K-beauty, I guess a lot of fans overseas or followers overseas would want to buy Korean cosmetic products, but I guess they would kind of hesitate before buying it because they can't actually try them on before they purchase it.
Right. So that's why I think that YouTube is so popular, because they can actually request reviews and look at the swatches and the demos of the products themselves. I think generally there is the concern of skin tone, because Korean makeup industries are still kind of focusing more towards the Korean market, Asian skins. So therefore foundations, they don't really come in a wide variety of different skin tones. So a lot of my subscribers always tell me about their concerns, especially if they're tanned or a little bit darker complexion. But I do believe that Korean companies are looking into this and widening their range of skin types at the moment. Skin products.
Yeah, I do have a little bit of trouble finding the right tone of BB cream for me.
Well, you do have a lot of subscribers from Korea and from abroad as well. Is there a difference between Korean subscribers and foreign subscribers? The questions that they ask and things like that? I mean, you obviously mentioned the skin tone and everything, but...
Yeah. Well, generally because everyone's interested in beauty, both parties are very interested in looking at trends and what is the hottest look at the moment, or going after celebrity looks. But if there is a big difference, the main difference would definitely be that I find my Korean subscribers are more interested in more natural kind of makeup looks, whereas the international subscribers are more interested in looks that give a little bit more expression and individuality to. And I think that's a cultural thing, actually.
Could be.
So what are some of the reasons that Korean cosmetic products are so popular? You brought out some Korean cosmetic products with you, so could you show us some of the tips or the strengths of Korean cosmetic products?
Well, first of all, as one of the people was saying in the VCR, in the report, was that there is no compromise on quality. And that's definitely something you see with Korean makeup. You really get what you pay for. And a lot of the makeup is so good quality compared to the price that you pay for it. There's also a wide range of products. And for example, if you look at the lip tints, the colors are very suitable for Asian skin tones, and they come out in really unique pastel colors that you might not see or find in a lot of Western brands. There are also really nice glitter liners and shades that help to create that young and effortless kind of look that a lot of people are looking for at the moment. And of course, there are key innovative products that Korean companies have come out with, such as the BB creams, the BB cushions. These CC creams and CC cushions are really all the rage at the moment, and it's definitely really unique, and it's taken on a storm at the moment. It's definitely it's basically stamping on your product in a really easy and convenient way. So it's an innovative thing, I think, and it's also a quality thing.
Well, every vlogger seems to have a unique sign-off. We'll let you sign off with your own, like it's your own channel.
Where should I?
All right, go for number 5. I don't know.
Well, I speak in English, and then right at the end of my videos, I usually say, 다음에 또 봐요.
All right.
다음에 또 봐요.
That's how we're going to say goodbye to you now. 다음에 또 봐요, Jennifer. Bye. Thanks a lot.
Okay, as the weather gets colder, you might think about just staying indoors, but sometimes heading off to the coastal cities is a great idea because of all the food that they have there. Today we're going to go to Pohang in the Gyeongsangbuk-do Province with Joey Mercadante. Good morning.
Good morning, Joey.
Good morning. Yes, come the winter, kwamegi enthusiasts are going nuts because 'tis the season. So before we go any further, let me explain to our viewers at home what exactly kwamegi are. It's a type of fish. I know it as Pacific herring, and it's thawed out. It's dried in the open winds, and it creates this dish called kwamegi. So I traveled to Pohang, and I got a chance to see the process for myself, taste the kwamegi for myself, and much, much more. So let's have a look at that in my next report. 5 hours southeast from Seoul is the city of Pohang in Gyeongsangbuk-do Province. It is the easternmost point on Korea's mainland, making it famous as one of the first places in Korea you can see the sunrise. It is also the center of the fishing industry on the east coast. Our first stop, the largest marketplace on the east coast, Gyeongsangbuk-do Market. There's a very special fish market that you should visit when you come to visit Pohang. And the reason is because there are things here that you can't find anywhere else. 50 years ago, this area was just a field of reeds. Then the merchants started slowly opening places here. And now it's home to about 1,200 agro-fishery shops.
Oh, wow.
Look at the size of this thing. And as all the best marketplaces do, Gyeongsangbuk-do Market sells what's fresh and in season. King crabs, octopus, whale meat, and more.
고래고기예요?
자, 요거는 한 점에 5,000원짜리.
감사합니다.
네, 맛있죠.
Right around this time of year.
Wow. It tastes like beef, to be honest.
2만원어치를 달라 그러면
Surprisingly delicious.
As I was saying, right around this time of year, there's a fish that's extremely popular, and it is, of course, kwamegi.
이거 뭐예요?
겨울에 제철이라면 꽁치.
네.
이걸 가지고 가메기도 하고 이러는데 가메기는 먹고 저녁에 먹고 나면은 아침에 피부도 기름이 잘 자라 그러고 정말 따봉.
To learn more about this kwamegi, we visited Gyeongpo Harbor area. When the cold winter rolls around, the Gyeongpo Harbor area is filled with the unique aroma of kwamegi. 80% of the kwamegi produced in the country comes from right here. And there's a specific reason for that. Gyeongpo is located right where the warm and cold wind currents meet. Perfect conditions for making kwamegi from Pacific herring. And it's been that way for many, many years.
That's how it's made.
The sea wind from below and the mountain breeze from above make the kwamegi very juicy and delicious.
And I guess the sea wind carries the salt with it?
That's right.
Saltiness?
Maybe.
I don't know the science behind kwamegi, but it looks good.
Well, I'll explain it to you a bit, but I'll explain it to you. As the fish dries, you can see the natural oils begin to come out. And this one is almost done, almost dried out. And you can see the oil there. All the healthy fish oil. Now that we've learned how it's made, it was time for a little taste. This restaurant is a foodie favorite. They have all types of kwamegi dishes.
When it starts to get cold, I think of kwamegi and come here every year.
How do locals eat their kwamegi? Well, the popular dish is either kwamegi mixed with various vegetables and the sweet-sour red paste, chogochujang, or some dishes where you eat the kwamegi with seaweed.
김에 여러 개 사가 드시면
같이랑. The kwamegi is delicious wrapped in kim, dried seaweed, or with boiled seaweed, and a dab of tasty gochujang red pepper paste. But the kwamegi and greens mixed in sour chogochujang sauce was especially delicious.
I like best is the texture. It has a very chewy, sort of meaty texture, and I think this would go nice with a nice shot of soju.
You said it best.
Another proud attraction of Pohang is the newest landmark there, the Pohang Canal. During the 1970 Industrial Revolution, construction for Pohang Iron and Steel, or POSCO, was completed around Dongbin Inner Harbor, turning the area into an industrial complex. For 40 years, the waterway was closed off, but late last year, it was reopened as the Pohang Canal. And the canal cruise has become quite the attraction. The canal is only about 1.3 kilometers long, but the cruise extends into the ocean. Now, including the ocean part of the tour, the cruise course is about 8 to 10 kilometers. And it's a nice mini tour of this coastal area in Pohang, the ocean, and the city within the canal. This boat cruise kind of feels like the one that you can do at Yeouido, except in Yeouido there's a lot of tall buildings. Here it's just open space. Plus, here we've got the seagulls, which was an added bonus. There's no seagulls at Yeouido, but you can feed the seagulls here, and that was a lot of fun. I really liked it. Now I know why Pohang is such a great place to visit during the winter. From the delicious kwamegi to the interesting boat rides and exciting fish markets. You should come and visit Pohang yourself. It's a great experience, and the beauty of Pohang awaits you.
Party time for Young.
And Jinju. I'm in
like
love with this stuff.
kwamegi.
Straight from Pohang. We have it right here. I'll give you a pair of chopsticks, Jinju.
I'll be honest, I'm not a fan. I haven't tried it, to be honest.
Really?
Well, let me show you how it's done.
Let me tell you a little bit. I mean, there is a specific way to eat the kwamegi, and that is with, well, you guys obviously know what you're doing, is with the seaweed, okay? So you can try it with the dry or the boiled. And the reason for the seaweed is because it will neutralize any of the overly fishy taste. So maybe if that's your concern, there's no need to worry if you're eating it with the kim.
Huh.
Wait,
still a little okay.
And it's
Jinju's faster than me right now.
Okay, if that hasn't convinced you,
what about the garlic? Is that a must?
It overpowers it.
The raw garlic.
The garlic? No, the garlic is not a must, but a bit of this gochujang is definitely a must. Okay, maybe I can sell you on this point. It's very healthy. Not only tasty, but very healthy because of the natural fish oils, the omega-3s, the nucleic acid actually increase during this drying process. Great for your skin, your brain, your energy. Don't I seem more energetic?
No, I'm sold. I'm sold.
Are you gonna try this?
No, I want to negotiate with you. Can we just take out the garlic? I'll just do it without the garlic.
Really?
There you go. There you go. I'll try it.
It's so good.
You're supposed to put it all in there.
It's actually very addictive. It's got a kick. It's got a bit of a chew feeling, but I really enjoyed it.
And Joey, you talked about the cruise tour that was offered at the canal. What time does it open?
Okay, so it opens at 10 a.m. Until just a bit before sundown, and it goes, like as you saw in the report, you see it goes through the canal and out into the ocean on really windy days, so sort of not really safe for being out in the ocean. They just cruise into the canal area, and if you have a group and you'd like to make a reservation, they offer special night cruises, which you can imagine would be beautiful, you know, the night sky, the Pohang city lights. So something you would definitely want to try.
Wow.
Sounds like a great plan.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. Now, Make me another one. That's good. Now I'm sold.
There it is.
All right. Well, this is where we say goodbye on this Thursday morning.
You saw it right here. Minjung loves kwamegi. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.